What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another preview stream for you guys. Obviously, we play Chelsea at home on Sunday, 1:30 kickoff. And I'll tell you what, if we don't beat Chelsea this weekend, when the hell are we going to beat them?
So we're never going to beat them, basically.
Never.
We're not going to beat them this weekend. Look, Chelsea, it's a weird one with Chelsea because it's been... obviously, we had Lewis in the studio yesterday. Watch out for the content that's going to come out from that. But we had Lewis in the studio, and it's just a really strange time because it's like, on the one hand, everyone's so excited with all the new signings. They spent 600 million. They've got some of the best talent European football can offer. Enzo Fernandez, they got ahead of Arsenal for Mudryk. They've just signed some unbelievable talent in their squad. And if you look at their squad, you close your eyes and you point to any position, right? And then you open your eyes, you let whatever position you land on, and you go to, okay, who plays in that position? They're chock-a-block in any of those positions. Right back, Reece James. Left back, you've got Cucurella and Chilwell. Forward line, you've got Mudryk, Felix. You've got Havertz. You've got unbelievable amount of talent, and yet they've won 2 games in 16. Yeah. So it's such a weird time as a Chelsea fan because you can't be angry at the board because they've spent so much money. Potter has only been there a few months, so as much as you can be angry at him, and he's getting most of the criticism right now for Chelsea's plight. It's like, how can him as a Chelsea manager come in and get his best 11 and know how he's going to play when he's got, not only does he have all the players from January, he's got all the players from the summer. They spent about 400 million in the summer. They signed Sterling, Koulibaly, Cucurella, all these players in the summer. So how he's supposed to sift through all of this while also getting results at the same time and imprinting his philosophy and bedding in players? It's like an almost impossible job right now at Chelsea. But then again, with all that talent, how can you only win 2 games in 16?
Look, you need to have a settled side, to be honest, and they don't have that at the moment. And when you're looking at the players that they've brought in, obviously unbelievable talent from all around Europe. You're not going to come into the Premier League and get all these players together and get a constant flow of good football week in, week out. That's just never going to happen, especially with a manager like Potter as well, who needs to imprint his ideas on the team. They had a much different philosophy before that with Thomas Tuchel, and they signed a lot of players for him in the summer, like you said. So I think it was always going to be a patient, fans needed to be patient with this one. And Chelsea fans were the ones calling for a big rebuild in the summer as well. They were calling for, they need a younger, fresher squad to come in, and they're getting that. So I think they need to be patient. I think if they are patient and they do stick by Potter and they do stick by this squad, I think good things are coming their way. But I thought it was always going to take this time. I didn't think it would be this bad. I thought they would win a lot more games than 2 in 17, to be honest. But I think that if they are kind of patient and stick by it and don't kind of go in overdrive of the negativity, I think good things are coming their way. I really do. And it's always going to take a manager like Potter time to imprint his ideas on a squad like that. It's just the facts of the matter. I think literally in 1 year or 2 years' time, I think they could be literally like one of the best teams in Europe. That's the kind of talent that they've bought. So it's not all doom and gloom and bad at Chelsea. It might seem that way at the moment right now, but I think good things really are coming their way. And when you're looking at the form that we're talking about, 2 wins in their last 17 games in all competitions, only 1 goal scored in their last 5, which is crazy to think about with the attacking talent that they do have. Still, they're quite mean at the back. Only 3 goals conceded, where you look at us, it's completely flip side of that. We've scored 7 and conceded 5. It's their away form. Look at that away form for Chelsea. 2 draws and 3 losses in their last 5. They're coming to us where we haven't beaten them in a long time. But like I said, it's the best time to play them, isn't it?
Yes and no. I would say, look, on the face of it, it probably is because they're really unsettled. They haven't got their best 11 or their way of playing together yet. They're under pressure. I think as well, because they've signed so many young players and they're all need bedding in, it's almost like what Lewis said yesterday, like when the crowd are up for it and it's like a really intense atmosphere, then these young players seem to there's not much leadership. There's Thiago Silva there obviously, but when he's not playing, Yeah, but he's also a new player. So when someone like Silva isn't playing, it feels like that there's a lack of authority and leadership on that pitch right now, and there's no one knows where to turn to, and they do seem to fold way too easily. It does seem to happen with Chelsea where I've been watching a lot of their games, and what seems to happen is they're playing well. They're usually creating a few chances, then something goes against them, like a goal or whatever, and then all of a sudden the confidence drops, the heads drop.
Spurs.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely happened with Spurs in recent years as well, but. Like Chelsea definitely seems to be happening with them at the moment, and I think it's because they're so young, these players. I remember our Arsenal in the early years of Arteta, it was very similar. Like they would have good starts, and then something would go against them, and then young players like Saka and Martinelli and these players, they wouldn't be as confident as they were. Before that bad thing happened, and it takes time to get used to these things. It takes time. It takes a lot of time on the training pitch, and it takes experience. And I think Chelsea are just suffering from that right now. I think Bowley knows that. I think he's seen what Arsenal have done by just sticking by Arteta through thick and thin. Things they got to a stage under Arteta, things couldn't have got much worse. I think they lost 8 games in a row in the Premier League. I don't think form-wise it gets much worse than that, and they still stuck by him. So I think right now, as bad as things are at Chelsea, I think you just got to have no expectations for this season. There's a lot of upheaval, a lot of transition, a lot of new signings, new ownership. You just got to accept that it's not going to go smoothly this season, with the long-term plan of thinking, all right, it won't go smooth this season, but next season that'll be when we can restart to judge.
They got a big job in the summer as well to get rid of a lot of players that are surplus to requirements. The Ziyech's and all those kind of players. Just to go back to the point you were saying, it's the best time to play them. On the flip side of them being disjointed, which is true, the one thing I'm worried about is because they've got such a talented team that there will be a week where they start to click. It will happen. They're not gonna be this bad the whole season, and I'm just worried. Is it going to be against Tottenham? You just never know. Usually is.
It could easily be. It could easily be, and that's what I'm worried about. One thing you've got to say is this Chelsea team is very hard to predict. First of all, who's going to play, how they're going to play, what formation, all these kind of things. They're chopping and changing it every week. Potter's trying to figure out what the best way to play is, and there is absolutely every chance that he'll land on that best way against Tottenham. There's every chance.
Teams usually do, to be fair, especially Chelsea. I mean, I think that if it was any other team maybe going through what Chelsea are going through, I think we'd be a lot more confident going into it. I think it's just because it's Chelsea and what we've been through against Chelsea over the last number of years. Since 2018, not won a game, not scored against them in our stadium in the league, which is absolutely dreadful. If you bring up the Premier League head-to-head, it's a sight for sore eyes. It really is. I mean, we drew against them earlier on in the season where we actually got away with one big time when Chelsea pummeled us pretty much for the whole game and we got a last-minute equaliser. But look at that form before then. I mean, it's just dreadful. And it goes back a lot further than that as well. It goes back maybe 2 years before that, where we've just had shocking results consistently against Chelsea. And it's just like a team, no matter what period they're in, we just lose to them. So that's a big reason why I'm a bit apprehensive going into this game this weekend.
Yeah, look, history is important, obviously. I do think when it comes to Chelsea, we'll probably face them in the worst form they've ever been in when we do face them. And probably the worst form we've ever faced them in. But yeah, if you look at those results, I mean, that January was one of the worst Januaries to play against Chelsea in a long time. We lost 3 games, no goals scored, and even in a cup semi-final, we couldn't even score a goal against them, which was absolutely shocking. Nuno losing 3-0 to them. Under Mourinho, I think we lost 1-0 at home, and then away from home we drew 0-0, so we got a draw there. Poch's last season. I don't think Poch played him in his last season.
11 games in the league, we've drawn 3 and lost the rest.
Yeah. We've got a shocking record.
Last 11 games, not 1 win. It's crazy. And as well, when you think about it, there was actually a period under Pochettino where we went through where we were actually really good against Chelsea. They couldn't get a win off us for 2 years or whatever it was. But since 2018, it's just been absolutely shocking. And it's time to put that right this weekend. And it's our best chance to do that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any better time to put it right, But at the same time, there's no better time for Chelsea to start turning around their form. Like it's kind of the perfect opportunity for both teams, and that's why I'm a bit worried about. But you have to hope that our last 2 home games, Chelsea, Man City and West Ham, clean sheets, positive performances. So hopefully we can build on those performances and take that into this game. And we need a good atmosphere here. I really think that's really important because I think these young players, when there has been an intense atmosphere, they have tended to fold a bit. So I'm thinking if Tottenham can really get the fans on side, we can play a bit more on the front foot, make sure they're unsettled from the off. Then I do think we've got a very good chance of winning. But if we let this young side settle, they've got more than enough quality to hurt us, more than enough.
Absolutely. And when we provide a good atmosphere for the team usually rise to the occasion as well, which I'm hoping for. When you're looking at the specifics in the Chelsea team, we've picked out these 2 players as the ones to watch in the Chelsea team. Their goalkeeper, Kepa, who's been clowned upon for a long time, got dropped for Edouard Mendy. Edouard Mendy now has been dropped, albeit he's injured. He has been dropped for Kepa, but he's been in sensational form this season. 7 clean sheets, 49 saves in 15 appearances this season. He's been keeping them in games at times, hasn't he?
Yeah, you have to give him credit. He's is a bit of very, I wouldn't say direct comparison, but David De Gea came in and had a really horrible start to his career, and then once he's started to settle at Man United, he started to show why they bought him for so much money. And Kepa has had a really tough start, maybe a lot longer than De Gea, to be honest. Like he's been at Chelsea now since 2018, so he's coming into he's in his 5th year at Chelsea, to be fair, which is pretty mad to think about. But he's had a really difficult time at Chelsea, but he came as a very young goalkeeper, and now he's a bit more mature.
How much do they spend on him? Like
70 million. He's a bit more mature now. He's now more used to the Premier League and the physicality, and to be fair, he's been pretty exceptional this season when he stepped in. I can't remember a mistake he's made. He's always had unbelievable reach with his big long arms. He's got really good shot stopping ability, and now he's cut those mistakes out of his game. He's showing why they spent 70 million on him back when they did. And for all the talk of them needing a new goalkeeper and Mendy not playing well, Kepa's now stepped up. And I think he's kept 7 clean sheets in 15 games this season, which is remarkable, to be fair to him, considering Chelsea's form as well. He's been super, super impressive. So that goes to his mental toughness, and that goes to his mentality to not give up on his Chelsea career. Now he's gotten another opportunity. He's kind of taken it with both hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And you cast your mind back to that time when he refused to come on, or he refused to come on?
That was his first season, yeah.
And you thought, oh, this guy's done at Chelsea already after the first year. And look, credit to him for bouncing back the way he has done. The other player we've earmarked is João Felix. Obviously, he hasn't played many games, 3 games only, because he got that straight red card in the first game that he did play. 1 goal. 7 shots on target in 3 games, though, ain't too bad for João Felix. And I've been super impressed with him. He's the one that's really stood out of the signings that they did make in January. He's a touch of class, really, João Felix. And he's kind of been shackled all this time playing for Simeone and playing in that system at Atletico Madrid. And it seems as though he's got a bit of a new lease of life at Chelsea at the moment, and he's so dangerous, man. He's one that we're going to have to watch so closely.
It's the way he just glides past players. I think he looks like he's got a lot more freedom now at Chelsea than he did at Atletico Madrid, even in the short space of time we've seen him. And he's one that's really hit the ground running. I know he got that early red card, but even on that game, he was the best player on the pitch before he got sent off. And to be fair, as much as you can clown on him for the red card, what it does show is his willingness to fight, his willingness to put in strong challenges and show that he's got that willingness to work hard for the team. And that's also a good thing. As much as a red card, obviously you don't want him to go overboard, but that's a good thing to show early in your Chelsea career. And I think he's really showed why Atletico Madrid all those years ago spent 100 million euros on him, because they spent that money, I think it was back in 2019, after they sold Griezmann. And it was only off the back of one good season.
Over 100 million or something.
It was 110 million or something. It was off the back of one good season at Benfica. And ever since he's gone to Atletico, I know Atletico got a good record with strikers, but he hasn't really seemed to fit in there whenever he's been. He's kind of had a very mixed time at Atletico Madrid. He kind of seems as though because Atletico are very used to having big, strong strikers: Falcao, Diego Costa, Aguero to an extent. I know he's not big and strong, but he's got quite a bit of physicality about him. But Felix, I'm saying Atletico Madrid.
Oh.
They've had a lot of strikers in their past, but Felix doesn't really fit that mould. and he's kind of struggled to find a place, like whether he's out wide, whether he's up front. I'm not really sure what his best position is. And I think at Chelsea, he's kind of playing in the hole, a bit of freedom, given freedom to glide past players. He's clearly got an amazing shot on him. And I think he's now starting to mature a bit as well. He's still young, 23 or 24 years old. He's still fairly young. So he spent a lot of years at Atletico Madrid, kind of playing that Simeone kind of way. But now he's at Chelsea under Potter, who's a lot more front foot, a lot more possession based. I think he's going to be a lot better. We're starting to see the best of João Felix now, even in the short space of time we've seen him, following on from some impressive performances at the World Cup as well. So he's an exciting talent. He's one that the Chelsea fans I know have fallen in love with it already after 3 games, and he's the one. In a weird way, even though he's only been there for 3 games, he's probably their most informed player.
Yeah, surely. If this lineup is the lineup, I mean, we don't know because we're playing here Chelsea roulette and anyone could play in this game. But if you bring up that predicted lineup for Chelsea, we've gone for Kepa in goal, back 4 of Chilwell, Badiashile, Silva and James, midfield of Enzo Fernandez, Mount and Kovacic with Sterling and Felix supporting Havertz. I mean, if Felix does play in that kind of position, surely it's a job for Romero, and if Romero can lock him down, he'll stand us in really good stead in this game.
Yeah, look, they've got more than enough talent everywhere else on the pitch, to be honest, that even if you shut Felix down, they can hurt you in a lot of other places. But obviously,
no one else is showing that form, though, is it?
Yeah, but honestly, honestly don't think it matters in a weird way, because it's a London derby. They're going to be up for it. You never know what they've worked on in midweek, if they've planned for something and they're finally going to make it click. Like, I look at that team and it's just chock-a-block full of talent. And I know Felix is their most on-form player. And of course, if you stop him, that's fantastic. But like, they've got so much other talent as well. It's not just all Felix. And I think it has to be Emerson starting on that wing. I think you just have to make sure that you're defensively solid and that we don't concede any stupid goals. And I think that's the best way to move forward in this kind of game, because I think Chelsea are actually really solid defensively, whatever you want to look at it. They've only conceded, I think, 3 goals in their past 6 games in total. They're keeping a lot of clean sheets. As we say, Kepa has kept 7 clean sheets in his 15 starts.
They've conceded 23 goals all season.
Yeah, which is impressive for a team that's struggling.
Arsenal have conceded only 23 goals all season. They're top of the league.
That goes to show where their problems lie. It's going forward. So we just got to make sure that we're not gifting them any goals. If they're going to score, they're going to have to work hard for them. So I think we're going to have to have our best. We're going to have a most a defensive back line with Emerson there. Maybe even Davis. Think about playing him on the left as well. If Perisic isn't up to it, but so. I think we just got to make sure that we're really solid and we're not making it easy for Chelsea to create chances, not gifting them any goals that we've done in some games this season. And if we do that, then we just got to hope we can find some quality in, going forward, because it's not going to be easy getting past their back line. Silva is a freak in the way he defends and how long he's been going for. I think Badiashile is a really good signing at the back as well. And then James and Chilwell, 2 very offensive wing backs, but can both defend as well. So, and Kepa in great form. So it's going to be very difficult to find those pieces of quality, but we have been doing that at home so far. Maybe if we put them under pressure with a bit of a high press like we did against City on occasion, like if we just pick our moments to press them and force them into mistakes, that could be the best way to get the win in it.
Yeah. Are you worried at all about the stat that maybe I brought up last week before the West Ham game about us having very good record against teams with a back 3? They've moved to a back 4 now, where our record isn't too good. Does that play in your mind at all? A bit, yeah, of course. Tuchel, I have to say, really mastered how to play against the Conte system. Every time we played Tuchel, they dominated us every single time, and it was always with a back 4. They always play this hybrid system with a back 4 on the ball and a back 3 off the ball, and we really got outdone every time we played against them. Potter obviously is different, and he plays a different way. So, I mean, I don't see Spurs changing up their formation just for this game. I think we're going to go with the way how we play, and we're just going to have to try and mitigate how we've been playing against back 4s this season. It does worry me a bit, just like Chelsea in general worry me a bit with their quality, but I don't know. Hopefully we have some sort of plan going into it to combat those frailties we've had in a back 4, but we'll have to wait and see. We played Man City, and I know they played with
a kind of hybrid system as well, back three, hybrid, back four. We beat them, so hopefully we can take that kind of energy and into this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the history and the record books showing us that, you know, we usually beat City, we usually lose to Chelsea.
Yeah, true.
But that's just the facts of the matter. What's your score prediction? You sticking with the 1-0?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with 1-0 Tottenham. I'm going to hope that we have that same defensive mentality we've had over the past 2 home games, and especially against Man City. Skip and Højbjerg have been in good form, so I'm really hoping that they're up to it against a very talented Chelsea middle three, with Enzo there, who's had a great start to life for Chelsea as well. So if they can keep up their form that they've been showing, and we can really make sure that we're not giving them any encouragement going forward, because they've really been porous in the front line, then I hope we can force them into a few mistakes. I don't really see us breaking them down through like really good football, to be honest. I think it's going to be. I see this being quite a stodgy game. I see this being a game where the team who makes the most mistakes loses, as opposed to the team who plays the best football. So I do, but I can see us forcing them into some mistakes, and if we can do that, I think we can edge it 1-0.
Yeah, I've kind of got a bit of a similar feeling to you, to be honest. I'm going for 1-0 as well. I do think our defence can lock down that attack, that poor attack that's only scored 23 goals all season, which is crazy. I mean, we've scored 44 goals this season, and they've just been on really poor form, and they look fairly easy to play against. But Lewis was saying yesterday they usually play well for about half an hour a game. We play well for about 45 minutes a game. Let's see how maybe they'll play well for the first half an hour of the game, and hopefully second half Tottenham can come and finish the job in the second half. But yeah, I'm going to go for 1-0 to Spurs. We're going to be in the stadium on Sunday, so looking forward to building up the atmosphere. We're doing the flag as well with THFC flags, which is going to be a bit of fun. So check that out on the vlog. Let's move on to BetMate and see what we got in the pot this week. We got £600 for £5 buy-in. If you use our code WATTV5, you can get a free £5 to play with. And like I said, it is a £600 guaranteed pot. Let's get into our teams, and let's start off with... Who's we starting off with? With my one. I've gone for Fraser Forster in goal, hoping for a clean sheet. In the defence, I've gone for Emerson as captain and Cuti Romero as vice-captain. Emerson, I'm going for an Emerson masterclass again, up against João Felix on that side. Romero will be up against João Felix on that side as well, so I'm expecting a lot of tackles and interceptions from both of them, and they're both pretty good at getting... well. Romero's good at getting forward. Emerson has been good at getting forward of late, scoring 2 goals in the last month. So that's my defence. In midfield, I've gone for Ollie Skip and Enzo Fernandez. First time I've picked Skippy, but he got a lot of points in the last game against West Ham. Very busy performance in the midfield. And I'm expecting a similar performance from both of them, to be honest. Very busy performances in the midfield with loads of tackles and interceptions. I think this is how this BetMate for Spurs-Chelsea is going to be split this week. I think it's going to be on the defensive actions, because I don't think there's going to be many goals in the game. And then up front, I've gone for Kane and Son. Hopefully to link up for our 1-0 win.
All right, for my team, let's get that up. I've gone for Kepa in goal. I'm just hoping he makes more saves than Forster, so I've gone for him in goal. I've gone for Emerson captain. And
you also went for Emerson captain.
I did, yeah. And Badiashile, I think there's Badiashile there as well in the defensive modes. So I'm hoping Emerson can continue his good form at home. And Badiashile is always good for some interceptions and stuff like that. In midfield, I've gone for Højbjerg and Enzo Fernandez, because I do believe it's going to be a big battle in midfield. And up front, with Chelsea not scoring many, I have gone for Kane and Son in the forward line, with Kane vice-captain, who hasn't scored since he broke the Tottenham record. So I'm banking him. He's got a good record in London derbies, so banking him on scoring on Sunday.
All right, so that is our match preview for the game against Chelsea. Big North London derby at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's make it 3 wins out of our last 3 games in Tottenham. But now let's start with our guests. And by the way, if you want to call in, the link is in the community section for members, for gold members. If you don't have a membership, all you need to do is scroll down and click join, or there's a link in the description as well where you can join the army, join the We Are Tottenham family, as the next person has been for a long time part of the We Are Tottenham family. It is Mr. Brian Daigle. Wow, looking fresh, Daigle. What is going on?
But he's on mute, so
don't
there
worry.
We go.
It's just a bit of eye candy. We don't need to hear him.
Exactly, he's modelling.
I think with something I need to talk about, you would have heard me even if I was on mute. Because I'm fuming at something today. I'm absolutely raging. Have you guys seen what Matt Law's published?
Is it something to do with the small bald man?
It's something to do with a very small, lying, disgraceful bald man that's decided to give himself £500,000 pay rise, which is phenomenal work for a job well done. 15 years since we've last won a trophy. Can't buy players, won't answer the trust with the direction or ambition of the club. We've got no money. We're running at a loss, but let's give ourselves a £500,000 pay rise. So just more typical bullshit from this bastard of a man. But
what's that to do with, man? How's he giving himself a pay rise? Don't get that.
Because he doesn't give a. I'm going to try and stay calm because I am raging. He doesn't care, does he? He just simply does not care. We've got apparently we've got that gentleman's agreement for the replacement for Lloris to be a Turkish free transfer. Who we have to get our Danny Rose out and Google him. Clement Longley will probably be the long gap replacement for guess who? Clement Longley. And things are great. Things are great. So let's just give ourselves a pay rise, and of course all the other board members for a job very well done. Fantastic. My eyes have seen the glory 15 years ago. Long may this continue.
Yeah, today I think it's on this day today, Brian,
Correct.
that we won the Carling Cup final in 2008. So maybe they just thought they'll treat themselves after a good 15
maybe
years.
It was. You know what? Their dividends have just come in, haven't they? It's just been like, yep, let's take our win bonus for a trophy 15 years ago. I mean, again, the timing of all this bullshit is just.
I'm guessing it's because we've just had our first full year with fans in the stadiums. I'm guessing, so the money's gone up. So they're thinking, why not give ourselves a pay rise? But doesn't look great. I'll give you that.
No, but then obviously the season ticket renewal prices will come out soon, and you guys will probably have to pay more money to counteract that. So. Long live the fans that keep giving him money, and he doesn't reciprocate. But that's just what we have grown to expect with this man, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, to be honest, and I think it's an absolute joke for him to get any sort of pay rise at the moment with the way things are going. But let's talk about the actual football that's happening this weekend. Spurs against Chelsea. You're on the watch along, aren't you?
I am indeed with Marlon. I am in the studio.
Marlon and Sammy as well.
Sammy. And you know what? You know, Ben, I have this long-running joke with him about Mason Mount. And if Mason Mount plays and scores, I may just jump out the window. It'll be easier to deal with than having to deal with Sammy. But yeah, that should be exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the highlights of that, that's for sure. And I'm obviously looking forward to being in the stadium. But when you're looking at Chelsea at the moment, shocking form, 2 wins in their last 17 games in all competitions. Do you read too much into that, or are you thinking, oh, it's Chelsea coming to Spurs, win for it again?
Unfortunately, mate, I am the latter. It's the one game that fears me with dread. Like I said last week when we were talking West Ham, there's two games where I'll never ever say that we're going to lose, and that's Arsenal and West Ham because of the rivalry. But unfortunately, this game and this club is the one that always strikes me with fear because of our record, and I'm feared with dread again. I have to say, honestly. I mean, do I think we're in a better place than them right now? Obviously, the league table says it, and the state of the club they're going through right now, we're in a better place. But that means nothing on this game. When they say form goes out the window on derbies, well, it certainly does in this one, doesn't it?
Well, you say that, but I mean, Chelsea have been on better form than us probably since 2018, and they've won they've won all of them bar 3 of them that have been draws. So maybe form is to be taken into account.
Well, also you got to remember as well, we haven't scored a goal in the Premier League against them. We scored in the Carabao Cup. I think it was still called the Carabao Cup. That year we got to the final against Man City. So we still haven't scored a Premier League goal against them in that new stadium.
Yeah.
So that's another stat. So yeah, you might be right, Ben, where you say does form come into this? It may be, and it's not good form for us, is it?
Yeah.
No,
But
well,
go on.
no, I'm saying our form's okay. I mean, at home, won our last two against City and against West
No,
Ham
I
with
mean
clean
against
sheets.
them, Tim. I mean against Chelsea.
Our form against Chelsea's pretty shocking. but looking at Chelsea, Brian, I don't know if you've been watching them recently. 2 wins in 16 games.
Yeah.
Although they've signed a chocker block full of talent, they've got a
Yep.
star-studded squad, but they can't seem to buy a win at the moment or even a goal. But how does that go into your thinking as to how Sunday will go?
Yeah, again, Simeon, unfortunately for me, this game, like I said, look at it, Southampton couldn't buy a win or couldn't keep a clean sheet for ages, and they sacked the manager. What did they do in their first game? Go to Chelsea, clean sheet, win. Those things mean nothing. It's just the psychological, the psychological part of this game. For some reason, we just cannot get the job done against Chelsea. We just can't. And I'm concerned that it's going to happen again. I really am. Listen, I'm excited to see Emerson, and I can see someone that's going to be very happy to see Emerson again waiting in the back end. But yeah, listen, like I said with you guys yesterday, and I put a tweet out. He deserves a hell of a lot of credit for what he's doing. And I'm looking forward. Do you know what the thing is? Does he start Skip or Sarr? And for me, like I've said before, I'm one of those people that, if you've got the shirt and you have a good performance, you keep the shirt. So based on that, I'm sticking out with Skippy.
Yeah, me as well, Brian. Mm-hmm. I think Skippy deserves to start in this game. I thought he was brilliant against West Ham last week, and hopefully a repeat performance this weekend. But he's coming up against players like Enzo Fernandez, which is going to be. He did come against Declan Rice, so he proved his worth last week. But what would you do with the left wing back situation? Ben Davies played there last game, had a fairly good game by Ben Davies's standards. Do you stick with him, or do you put Ivan Perisic back in?
I would stick with the exact same team that started against West Ham. The exact same team. Listen, Ben Davies, I still don't understand quite how he got man of the match from Spurs over Emerson Royale. I don't get that at all.
Or over Skip, or over Romero.
Yeah, those three, were the standout players. So, but they got the job done, and we're going to need to be defensive. Chelsea, listen, they may not be on form, but they're attacking. Part of the team, if they click, which they haven't done recently, is going to be lethal. And I still think Son should be on the bench. You've come on, you made a very big impact. Let's see you do that more. Let's try and get you ready for Milan. Let's try and get you a bit more fitter, a bit more with it, a bit more like your old self. Because when you're on form, Sonny, you walk into this team. It's not even a debate. You absolutely, by right and by your sheer world-class stature, walk into this team, but you're not that player right now. So I think Richarlison, with his fight and his grit and his determination and his shithousery, you need to ruffle some feathers with this defence in Chelsea, and I think he's the man to do it.
Yeah, we've just had a super chat here from George Yu. He says the Spurs directors have been paid more than Arsenal and Liverpool.
Wow.
Surprise, fucking surprise. What can you say?
Mental. How the hell are we paying our directors more than Arsenal and Liverpool at the moment?
We're not paying our directors; they're paying
themselves. Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Mate, can you imagine you going to have your appraiser and they just look in the mirror and go, Daniel, how you doing? Yeah. What do you want to give yourself? I think I deserve $500,000 pay rise. Sounds good to me. Bye. How? They just sit in the mirror and talk to each other. It's fucking ridiculous. How can they be getting more than Arsenal and Liverpool?
I know, it's crazy. But, back on the game, I mean, we were with Lewis from Chelsea Fan TV yesterday. And I've been watching a few of his streams over the past couple of days as well. I mean, they have literally no confidence going into this game whatsoever. He's basically, every time I've spoken to him over the past 3 or 4 days, the first thing he said to me every time is congratulations on the 3 points.
Oh, wow.
What do you think of that mentality coming from the Chelsea fan base?
You know what? I mean, for Chelsea fans are saying that, and especially someone like Lewis, who's a top guy. Obviously, I got to meet him with you when I was with you last year. For him to say something like that's big for Chelsea fans to say that, because it is like they're 6 points guaranteed with us. So I think that club right now, obviously with Graham Potter, the heat that is on this man. I mean, I personally think if we do get a result, he's gone. I think this is like I think Potter's in. If you don't win this game, ta-da, see you later, goodbye. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on Chelsea, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But it's nice to hear for once that Chelsea fans are feeling like we normally do going into this game.
Yeah, the shame is that we're also feeling like we usually do. So
Correct. You're bang on the money.
Brian, what's your score prediction?
Unfortunately, mate, I'm going 2-1 Chelsea, and this is the only time you'll ever hear me say a defeat on this channel because it's Chelsea. It's the only reason I'm saying it. So I'm going 2-1 Chelsea, unfortunately. And like I said, my reverse psychology, if I'm wrong and we win or get a draw, I'm happy. But if I go win and we lose or draw, I get furious. So I prefer doing it this way, the reverse psychology, and hopefully it'll work.
Trust me, Brian, if we lose 2-1 and you get the scoreline spot on, you'll still be fuming.
Oh, of course I will. Of course I will. But at least I'll be kind of, I don't know what kind of fuming I will be, but not as fuming as I would be if it's a 2-1 win.
All right, fair enough. We'll speak to you soon, Brian. Thanks for coming on.
You will do, guys. Always a pleasure. And as always, Levy out.
Nice one,
Big up, Brian. Come on. El Dante with the super chat saying, come on, you Spurs. Max volume from the crowd, please. We'll win 3-1.
Let's go on. Turn up then.
Yeah, turn up the volume because we've got Ashmatic on next. Is he going to be on mute?
What's going on,
Is he going to be
No,
on mute?
he's
No, he's
not.
not on mute. Come on.
Come on, boy.
Oh, man, I was prepared today. I had it on mute and I was like, no, let me just touch it.
Doesn't matter what the result is on Sunday. We've got a win here.
Yeah, you were prepared for the stream today, Ashmatic. Are Spurs going to be prepared for the game on Sunday? Talk to me.
I hope so, man. It's going to be an interesting tactical battle, I think. I was looking at your predicted lineup, and it's hard to predict what lineup Chelsea are going to produce. And that is a testament to how good and how strong their squad is. Despite the results, the performances haven't been that bad, even though Chelsea fans don't feel super confident. So yeah, that in itself is a cause for concern for me, and it's just how Spurs deal with it, because in different stages of the game, they can switch it up at any time. They can switch formations, they can switch tactically, they can switch players, they can move players around in different positions. I don't think we've got that much room for maneuver tactically at Spurs as much as Chelsea. We do have room to maneuver, but not as much. And when I look at Chelsea, players I look out for, funny enough, I like the look of Badishila. Is that how you say his name?
Badishile.
The centre back? Yeah, Badishile, yeah. I like the look of him. He's got a good range of passing. He can actually bring the ball out from the back, something our centre backs can't do.
And he's strong and tall and fast.
And he's he's fast, he's physically strong, he's got an athlete's like kind of physique, that type of, he's very confident on the ball for a young kid. And playing alongside Silva is going to do him the world of confidence. I think if they have Fernandes, I think Fernandes is another worry as well. Fernandes can sometimes drop into a back three, and that can release their fullbacks in Reece James and Ben Chilwell, or even Cucurella if he starts. But I think Chilwell will start ahead of him. And I think Spurs would be narrow in the middle of the pitch, so we'll have like a defensive block, and we'd be hard to break down in the middle. So I think they'll try to go down the wings, but they tried that in their last couple games. I've seen a game against Southampton, a game against Fulham, and they weren't too successful when teams kind of sit off and they do that kind of mid to low block. But what Fernandes is good at doing, Fernandes is good at taking that ball up from the back three and then finding like their number eights, or finding like, so they got João Felix. Felix, if he's a winger, he doesn't always hug the touch line. He comes in a lot. So it's like, do our players follow him, or do we just keep our shape? it's hard to tell what to do when João Felix comes inside, because a lot of his best work is in the middle of the park. And I know they've got the false nine at Havertz as well. So sometimes if them two drop off and swap positions, they'll be hard to pick up. And sometimes it's hard for us to pick up players when we get moved around out of position, especially our wing backs. But I feel like that midfield battle will be important again. And I wouldn't mind seeing, this is controversial, but I wouldn't mind seeing Emerson Royale from the wing back position sometimes drop into our midfields to make a midfield free sometimes, just to
I don't think that's too controversial.
Yeah, because he's quite confident inside. He's quite confident inside inside the pitch. He's been doing those runs inside as well of late, and I feel like him helping out Højbjerg and Skip, making a free in midfield, could help us, especially if Fernandez does do that back three thing. Then there's space. Obviously, it's going to be space with Kovacic or whoever plays in the midfield. We could outnumber them in midfield potentially and start winning duels. And if we start to push up higher the pitch, that could be to our advantage, especially if we've got three in the midfield and then we've got three up front. I think that could be that could pay dividends. But I wanted to talk about Son real quick.
Go.
Son, I was watching Rashford against Leicester, and basically he was playing centrally as a forward, Rugpass behind him, and he was trying to run him behind, and they kind of marked him out the game. So they realised that Rashford was going to play a little bit more central, and what Ten Hag did, he said, to get more one-on-ones, I'm going to move you out wide, so you can get a few more one-on-ones. He did that, and then Rashford ended up scoring. So I'm just wondering if Son could take that same approach. Sometimes stay central. If it's working, stay there. If it's not, sometimes pull wide. Because now if Davies starts as left wing back, he's going to have more space being the old school Son. Because Son used to be a winger, and he used to cut inside and score. So I think there's a time and place where Son can come on. If he's not getting any space in the middle of the pitch, sometimes he can draw wide, and he can basically create one-on-one situations, and he could possibly score through that avenue. Because a lot of the time we're trying to figure out why Son hasn't scored. And I watched his clips from last season, and it was almost like an equal split. He scored about, I think, a good percentage of his goals in the right and a good percentage of his goals on the left as well. So it just shows that Son, if you stick him to one side and you give him one job, creativity-wise, he doesn't produce as much. I think he needs a bit more, I wouldn't say freedom, but he needs to switch up his game. Sometimes arriving from the right, sometimes arriving from the left, and then ending up in the centre to score your goal. So
is it? And you're not thinking about putting him back on the bench? You think he definitely comes back into the 11?
I'm just saying, if he does start, I just saw that with Rashford. I saw Ten Hag make that.
I'm saying, but what do you think? Do you think he should start? Do you think he will start?
I know. I think we do the same. I think we start with the same 11. I think Richarlison should start. I think Richarlison didn't get much joy in that game against West Ham because they doubled up on him, and I think Richarlison, they played quite deep, West Ham, in the first half, and that's the reason why Richarlison wasn't getting much chances and much joy on the ball. So I think if Son started, he would have had the same problems as Richarlison because there was no space to run in behind. And I think if when Son's at his best when he has got space to run into, basically. So I agree with what the fan base is saying with Richarlison. Put him on. He's a lot more physical than Son. Tire him out the opposition. He's a bit of a nuisance. He might hang on you. You might barge you around. You might push you around. And then bring on Son, because they're going to want to attack, especially if the game's tight. Then you bring a Son on, and then Son stretches the game, and then it gives you more to think about. It gives the other side to think about. And if Son's stretching the game, that gives more space for Kane and whoever's on the right side, maybe Kulu, whoever. They've got more space to run into as well.
Ash, it's a weird game on Sunday, isn't it? Because in a weird way, because of Chelsea's so many new signings, so many new players, Potter is choppy and changing every week. I know they're on terrible form, but it's like, how, if you're a Tottenham manager, how do you plan for this kind of game? Because you don't know, you kind of don't know what 11 they're going to play. You don't know what formation they're going to play. It's all kind of, you won't know anything really until an hour before kickoff a lot of the way. So, like, is it just a case of you got to just concentrate on yourself and you don't plan for them? Or do you think there is some sort of element of planning you can do and you can kind of just take what you get from their previous games?
I think it's an element of being ready tactically to switch it up when they switch it up, because there's going to be times in the games where they're not going to get much joy down their sides. They're going to try to overlap down the sides, I reckon, with your either Menduke or your Mudryk, or even down to Sterling or whoever they have in those wide positions. They're going to double up with like your Mount, not your Mount, sorry, your James, Reece James, and your Chilwells or Cucurella. They're going to be pushing down that side. They're going to try to double up on our wing backs to push our wing backs back so we're not as effective. And obviously, if we're compact in the middle, that's what they're going to try and hurt us down the sides. And then they're going to try to do 2v1s on our fullbacks or on our centre backs. And then that's going to create lanes in the half space for their wing forwards to come inside and be a bit more central. Or they're going to like try and get as many players onto one side. So it's going to make us difficult for us. So we might have to have like a tactic for that. And then there might have to be a tactic when they're not going down our sides. And what they're doing is they're literally getting their false nines, or they're getting their attacking mids, their 2 number 8s. They might drop into the midfield to kind of make like what's it called? They're trying to overload our middle. So they're going to be. So we're going to have to tactically be prepared for that as well. So I think it's going to be a thing where we're going to have to be prepared for if they go wide or if they're less expansive and they're trying to go through our central areas. We're just going to have to be ready for all situations. But
yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because if they had a settled team and like if they were maybe a year down the road with all their signings, it might be a bit of an easier game to prepare for, just so you know how they play and you're used to it and stuff like that. But because there's so much change and there's so much uncertainty, in a weird way, it kind of makes them a lot more unpredictable, doesn't it? And it's like
definitely.
And it's like I'm a bit worried that because they've been looking for how to play for a long time under Potter now. He's been chopping and changing the team, the formation, everything. And I just have this worry that they're going to turn up on Sunday and it's going to start to click for them, because it could start at any moment because they've got such quality. They could start to click at any moment. And I'm worried that it could be Sunday.
Yeah, me too. Because Sterling, for me, didn't play bad against Southampton. Mm-hmm. He actually was unlucky. Like, he had a couple shots that were nearly like got cleared off the line. He was like a threat. He came inside a lot. But the thing with Chelsea is they looked a little bit toothless up front because they didn't have that clinical edge of that striker that's got that killer instinct that we have. So when they were trying to play it inside, no one was making that natural run inside. Or sometimes when their wing forwards were coming inside a lot, they were holding on to the ball too long. They weren't releasing that ball. So I'm worried that they're looking at that type of footage and they're focusing on what they're doing well and thinking, well, we were hard done by that 1-0 win. And even that 1-0 win with Borussia Dortmund as well. They might be thinking, yeah, we played well. We hit the crossbar in that game. Let's keep on this, maybe make a few tweaks. And like you said, like maybe have Havertz to start up top instead of Fofana. Fofana didn't look too impressive to me. So it was just maybe 1 or 2 tweaks that they might change. But other than that, they've been actually like dominating possession, creating chances. The XG is not bad.
And their defence, they barely concede any goals.
Exactly. That's the thing. And that's the reason why I was impressed by their centre-backs. And then even down Fernandes. Fernandes is a man, he can he's very comfortable with the ball. And also he can switch the play as well. So he can do balls long into their front three, or he can come inside a lot. He can link up with the wing backs. He's very versatile in that defensive midfield position. And also Kovacic, he's no mark either. So they've got quite a few options, and Kante's fit back as well. The only thing I will say is there is no like Mount came out in the press conference and he was like, we're very flat in the dressing room. He said it. So that for me is an indication that is a bunch of players. They don't really know each other. They're, they're not really a team unit, and they don't know their starting 11. They don't know their best 11, and they don't have those patterns of play where the rhythm in that team is familiar. You know, when you're playing with a certain amount of players for a certain amount of time, you know where that player is going to be. Do you know what I mean? You know, like Kane just knows Son's going to be in his bike, or do you know what I mean? You know, like Skippy's, he might move off, or Højbjerg, he takes a touch before he comes inside, or do you know what I'm saying? They haven't really quite got that. They're still quite fresh and new, and I think that's the reason why it's not quite working with them at the moment. And also, I think Potter, the type of manager he is, he's quite soft. Like he's not like, you know, our managers and our staff room are quite like vocal and aggressive, and I think like I think something kicked off the other day with Chelsea, and all the fans were like, not the fans, the players were on the pitch fighting, whatever, and their coach was nowhere to be seen. Like he was like looking around, thinking, well, I don't know, like, am I meant to jump in, or do you understand? He was a bit nervous. So like sometimes when you've got like a coach with a bit about himself and a bit of belief, I think that kind of feeds onto your team. And I think within the first 30 minutes, if things ain't happening going right, we might be able to rattle them if we get a goal. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's one thing, yeah, because they're a young team. I feel like if you can just unsettle them a bit, then maybe they'll start to lose confidence a bit, because they're clearly they've got quite shaky confidence at the moment.
Yeah, and this is it. And I think if we start well, because you know in the first half, West Ham, we kind of pushed quite high up on them, and I feel like if we can do that again, and we're in their half a bit more, we've got the fans to kind of lift our players. We've got more to talk about. Do you understand? We've got more confidence going into that, and if we can just create something off the back of it, then we might be able to like rattle them. That's all it is. If we can rattle them, then I can't see them getting back into the game. I feel like this Chelsea team's not quite there yet. Whereas if they go into the game in the second half and it's like the last 20 minutes, 15 minutes, they might think they can nick something, or they might get a draw out of the game. Do you understand? So I just don't really rate Potter like that as a character or a personality to kind of rile his team up. Too many individuals. I'm just not really confident. But like we said before, like they have got an amazing squad, and it just takes this game here for them to click. But we have to be as fans in the stadium, we have to rile them up. We have to get behind them, and we can't be booing any of the players. So, for me, key area is going to be that midfield area, and Skip for me defensively, he's tactically very aware. Højbjerg sometimes is not so much, but I think Skip tactically is really good. I like Højbjerg for his tackling, his tenacity, his actual ball playing ability. So when he passes the ball, he's quite good at passing. His passing range as well. He can actually contribute going forward a bit more than Skip. But I think defensively, Skip's really good. So I'm looking out for a stellar performance from those two, and energy as well on the pitch. Just to getting around the pitch. Last game, Skip really, really, not just his energy getting around, but he actually had good patterns of play with sometimes being that third person when he linked up with like an Emerson, or he linked up with Romero. He could like make little small triangles, and he did 1-2 touches, like one passes, and sometimes that's good to kind of get the team to slow it down or to speed it up, and that kind of shifts the team of like the other position. They don't know whether to stick, press, kind of, and one player gets drawn out, that creates a hole, boom, it comes into attack. And also I think when we press aggressively, especially like if Chelsea are pushed up the field, if we press aggressively then and win the ball high up, I think we may have a chance and getting like more chances and scoring goals.
All right.
Score prediction, did you give one?
No, yeah, go on, score prediction, yeah.
A famous victory for Tottenham Hotspur and Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We're going to go for a 1-0 for Spurs. We're going to upset all the fans, and hopefully we can push on from this, man. It'll be a positive result. Lots of talking points, but yeah, hopefully it'll be a strong win. I am scared of Kante as well. I forgot to mention his name.
I think he's been ruled out, but I'm not 100% sure.
Is he ruled out? Oh, fantastic. Great news. Then, yeah. 1-0 Spurs. Let's go.
Come on. Big up, Ashmatic. Thanks for coming on today, bro. We'll speak to you next time.
Yeah, peace, bro. Love.
Nice one, Ash.
All right, let's keep going, people. Who have we got next? It's Elias, Step Up Spurs. Yes, Elias, how
Hello.
are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just had a long day at work today. Still at work actually. So yeah, just tuning in from there.
So what?
Yeah.
If they see you live on YouTube, will they get a bit angry or what?
No, this is a
Fine.
business
It's
Zoom
fine.
call. It's a business Zoom
It's
call.
fine.
Just tell her.
Yep.
Just tell
It's a
us, and we'll go.
business
We'll
thing.
switch like accounts and stuff. Don't worry.
Yep. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Exactly.
It's actually just a side thing. So yeah, I'm just taking care of another event. Yeah. So it's fine.
Elias,
Yeah.
talk to me about your feelings coming into this. Obviously, Chelsea on shocking form, 2 wins in the last 16, 17 games in all competitions. Spurs, coming back into somewhat form with the 2 last home games against West Ham and Manchester City. But Spurs having a very shocking record against Chelsea. So how are you feeling coming into this one?
I'm a little bit nervous because Chelsea always turns up against us, and I think that the Chelsea games over the past few seasons have been the very close ones. The Battle of the Bridge and all that. It always matters, and now at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as well, I think it's gonna get a bit intense. I'm not expecting a really easy game because somehow the Chelsea squad, their players are coming back as well. They are getting fit, and you're seeing a lot more positivity in their squad. Although Potter is the problem still, I feel, according to a lot of Chelsea fans. Uh, but somehow I feel that he may turn up against us, really. So it is a concern, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it, Elias? Because it's like we're looking at their form. You got to be confident going into this game that we will have an advantage. But then again, because of all their talent, because all their talent and because they're so unpredictable, it kind of makes it hard to plan for this game, doesn't it?
It does kind of make it hard for the game, in my opinion. Uh, but I think somehow we will pull it off because I think Chelsea is still kind of not there. They are not at their best still. They are still struggling with their form and all that. Despite the fact that yeah, they do somehow turn up against us, I still think that we can pull this off. So I'm going for a very close call. Like, let's just say I think we may be able to pull it through. I think through our front line. Yeah.
Brian Daigle mentioned before that he wants to see an unchanged lineup from the West Ham game. Would you agree?
Um, I think we will see a bit of changes. I am expecting for Pedro Porro to start, and maybe Emerson might come off the bench, because I think you need someone faster, someone who can cross, and someone who can attack, like Pedro Porro. And I think Emerson still, despite the fact that he has been defensively good, attacking wise, he's still not there. I know Barry is in the back room and he's looking at me now very closely. But
Be careful what
I
you
don't
say
think,
with Barry in the background there about Emerson, mate.
yeah,
He's going to be coming for you.
Yes, he's gonna come for me later. I don't think Emerson should be, Emerson should be starting. He should be on the bench. Given that now we're in this kind of game where you have a very young squad, you want to put the pressure on them. So you shouldn't be starting a very defensive lineup. You should go out all out and actually put the pressure on them rather than allowing them to come and trying to attack.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic with Pedro Porro as well, because he has that whole history with João Felix as well, cheating on his girlfriend and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Do you think that can play into the game, into the mind games of the game, and who would it favour?
Actually, there are a lot of those kind of battles that I'm looking forward to, like Joe Felix versus Pedro Porro. Then you have Romero versus Chuchurella, the pulling of the hairs.
Yeah,
And
that's
a
true.
lot of this kind of things may come into part there. Um, so I'm expecting a really tough one.
Yeah.
I'm expecting some battles to come into play.
All right, what's your score prediction?
I will go for a 3-1 win, and yeah, I think that would pull us through.
All right, Elias, big up. Everyone go subscribe to Step Up Spurs as well. Thanks for coming on today, mate.
Yeah, I'm doing a show later with a Chelsea fan to just discuss that game as well at about 4 p.m., 4:30 p.m. later GMT. Yeah,
All right.
on my channel.
Big up. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Thanks, guys, for having me. It's a quick one today since I'm at work, but thanks for having me.
No,
No
worries,
problem
Elias.
at all.
Good to see you.
Let's keep going, people. Who have we up? Oh, it's the right of response straight away. The right of response. Something inside so strong. Come on. Get Barry on.
It's Ben. It's Sim. Sean Butler. Elias. Sorry, guys. I was just going through my receipts. I was just going through my Emerson Royale receipt. Sorry. Guys.
Anyone else in there, or is it just those four? Surely you got a lot more than that.
Well, those were the four at the moment. I mean, I got a book like this, so you know.
Yeah, you should be getting 60,000 every week, I would have thought.
Yeah. So I'm just going through my receipts, you know, just to just noted them down. So yeah, I heard what Elias had to say, or Elias had to say about Emerson Royale. So we'll just leave it like that. We don't need to say it. I'll be like this. If I speak,
you know what,
I will be in trouble.
Let's talk about it, Barry, because there is, you know, a big maybe option to play Pedro Porro, seeing as Chelsea's defence is very strong, their attack hasn't been very good, and as well you've got the whole mind games thing with João Felix. So is there any part of you whatsoever that thinks that we should start Pedro Porro this weekend?
Nope.
No, ever. Should we ever start him? Ever?
No, look. You know, everyone knows my love for Emerson Royale. So look, we need eventually Pedro Porro, as hard as it makes me to say, you know, is the long-term replacement. But yeah, I mean, look, we've had a week to prepare. He's obviously had a couple of weeks. Didn't set the world on fire against Leicester. However, he didn't have
he set our backline
Romero
on fire. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, but he didn't have Cuti Romero next to him. So,
yeah.
Look, would I be surprised that if he starts on Sunday? No. Would I be disappointed? Of course, I'm going to be disappointed if he starts on Sunday. But look, we just need to go out and get 3 points. That's the most important thing. So, look, it would be harsh on Emerson based on, you know, the last month or so, especially on last week's game. But, you know, I think, you know, there's that love for the team, there's that understanding, and the 3 points is all that matters, really. We will never have a better time to beat Chelsea. We'll never have a better
Barry,
time.
I was trying to find some receipts, a Barry receipt on Emerson, because I was like, surely not from the beginning he could be showing this love for Emerson with the way he was playing. But I couldn't find one bad word you said about Emerson in the whole group chat. Not one.
18. I think it was 18 months in, wasn't it? You went back to June 2022 or something.
Not one bad one ever. Just constant defending. Just constant, like people getting on his back. You're like, don't say a word about Emerson. Literally,
yeah,
from day one. It's unbelievable, actually.
I know. Look, probably the most. I mean, I'm sure you'll find other things. I mean, I know Sean Butler's finding receipts like he's going out of fashion. He's doing that more than he's doing any work. But look, and I think, look, we do have times when we say stuff about one player or another and everything else. But look, it's massive. This game this weekend is massive. Harry Kane has got to show up to the party. It's a London derby. He loves a goal. But yeah, it's interesting. He's just joined in the background. He heard us calling old Shawnee boy, and he jumped on. So look. Yeah, we just need to get 3 points, man.
Yeah, Barry, Will was sending a super chat, says, I'll count my receipts for Son, Barry, and we'll come out even. Talking about Son, does he start this weekend, or does Rishi keep his place for you?
No, look, I think we've spoken about this or everyone's spoken about this on loads of things, but look, the best front three are Son, Kulu and Kane, right? So we're playing against a Chelsea side that are where they are in the league, 9th, 10th, who cares? But, you know, I think, you know, Son has to start. I think you saw that that tweet where Son was walking out of the tunnel and he just looked dejected and just kind of tapped Harry on the back. And you saw that connection straight away. Look, I know Rishi kind of tried his best and he was there, but he's playing out of position. And I think we've all kind of said that he's playing out of position. So to have him to come on and just do that, look, I get people are calling for the whole, oh, well, he's come off the bench and he scored 4 goals, but he's only scored 1 goal when he started. Look, Son is a world-class player. He's got his, we just need him to kick on and just go on that run like he did the back end of last season. That's what we need to do. And I think the best chance of us winning this game is if Son starts.
What worries you more, our form against Chelsea, or maybe our form this season and Chelsea's form this season? I mean, how are you looking at this game? Are you more looking at the form us against Chelsea, or form of Chelsea this year in the league?
Look, like with most London derbies, especially against Arsenal, especially against Chelsea, form goes out the window. How we got a draw, obviously the beginning of the season, is beyond anyone's realms, because that was probably, well, I at the time I said that was the poorest we're probably going to play all season. It's probably the best Chelsea we're going to play all season. So yeah, I mean, we've played worse since then. I don't think Chelsea have played any better than that game. That was probably their perfect game, but for some, by hook or by crook, we weren't walking out of there with we were walking out of there with something. So yeah, I think form goes out the window. It's interesting with the whole Kante being back. We saw what happened last season. We dominated for 45 minutes. There was 3 subs. There was Kante came on at half time, and then we just got ripped apart. So yeah, or that was the season before, whatever it was, I can't remember. But yeah, it's yeah, there was that can always happen, right? And this guy Kante, I don't know how he always gets fit. He goes, oh, I'm going to be injured, but Tottenham are coming up. Oh, I seem to be fit now, so let me go and do it. But look, form goes out the window, but we've got to be happy. Okay, it wasn't the greatest of West Ham's teams that we beat, but we beat Man City. We had that blip against Leicester, and look, after Sunday's game, we've got some really easy, or should be easy fixtures that we should be looking to getting 3 points in all of them and going on that run into that top 4. Me getting that Emerson Royale haircut and everything being fine in the world, really. So if only it was easy as that, right?
If only, mate. If only. I mean, it's going to be a difficult game, man, this weekend against Chelsea. But what's your score? Well, first of all, let's ask you the question. Do you think that we should go unchanged from the West Ham game?
Yes.
Ben Davis left wing back, Skippy back in the midfield, Sonny on the bench.
Yeah. Well, no, sorry. I think Sonny should start instead of Richarlison. And I think I can just hear Sean crying in the background. I think Sonny should start instead of Richarlison. Ben Davis, Oliver Skipp, he got booked in the 6th, 7th minute and went that whole game. He had to walk that tightrope, and that just showed his maturity. So yeah, the only change for me, Sonny comes in for Richarlison, and we go from there.
All right, score prediction.
I mean, Barry, or was he gone?
All right, I think he's lost his connection there, so we'll keep moving on. Thanks for coming on, Barry. Thanks for coming on. And who is up next? Someone that we haven't seen in a long time, Mr. Brad Matthews. Yes, Brad, how are you, my friend?
Hello, guys. Yeah, it's been a long time. I'm sort of, when you get those 2 or 3 days where you think you've got like a cold and a cough coming on, I'm in that stage at the moment. So,
yeah.
So hopefully I'll be fit and well for Sunday. So.
Yeah, let's hope so. Hopefully we'll get to bump into you as well Sunday. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, you're both going, are you?
Yeah, we're both going, yeah.
Okay, I shall seek you out.
Talk to me about your feelings coming into this one. Obviously, Chelsea on horrible form at the moment, or I shouldn't say horrible because it's good for us. I'm definitely enjoying every second of it. But our record against Chelsea has been absolutely terrible. So, what are your feelings coming into this one?
Well, it's Dr. Tottenham time, isn't it? Really. This Tottenham team that we're watching at the moment, it's so inconsistent. You do not know who's going to turn up. If the good Tottenham turns up, then we'll have a good chance of winning. If evil Tottenham turns up, then we won't. And you just can't predict at these times. It's like last season. We had win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Well, we're coming off a win. I think they really have to go at Chelsea on Sunday, and because that will bring the crowd into it. You guys were at the West Ham game. It was really dead in that first half. Absolutely dead. And yet, when we got the goal in the second half, the crowd came alive, and it's brilliant. So we've got to do that on Sunday. We've got to go at them on Sunday, try and get the early goal for a change, and then that will get the crowd involved. That will give them confidence, and then we'll see what happens from there. The only thing I will say that Chelsea have got so many new players. It's not really the normal Chelsea team that beat us every time. So we could have that in our favour on Sunday.
Yeah, that's the thing with Chelsea at the moment. They've got so many new players and they're still working themselves out. But does that kind of, in a way, make them unpredictable? Like, does that make it hard to plan for this kind of game, or do you think that works in our favour?
I think it's both, really. It makes us hard to sort of plan, because if you look at a team that you know how they play and you know what their players are going to be, you can say, well, this guy does this and we'll do that. So you can't really do that with Chelsea. But on the other hand, it does give us an advantage, because teams that buy loads and loads of players, it can take them half a season to a season to actually gel and get ready. So we got that advantage on Sunday. You remember when Fulham got promoted and spent £100 million on players? Everyone's going, oh, look at the money Fulham's spending. Wow. And they got relegated that season. So I think we've definitely got that as an advantage on Sunday.
Yeah, and you definitely saw that at the beginning stages of the season with Nottingham Forest as well, with all the players that they brought in. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game. In terms of personnel on the pitch, would you go unchanged, or what changes would you make?
Oh, I understand the don't change a winning team. I wasn't impressed with Richarlison on Sunday. If he'd have had a really, really good game, I'd say keep him in there, but he didn't. So I would go with Sonny. Going back to what I said about attacking them, look, Emerson's been absolutely brilliant. But the one thing in this game is that he gets to the byline crosses. You can't do that. It's the one thing you can't do. You can do most everything else. And I really don't like the hatred he's got from supporters. I think there's a decent player there. It's just that he's not an attacking wing back, basically. So I would be inclined, on what I've said about attacking them, is just to go out all out attack. Now, the left back position or left wing back depends on what they think about should be our left centre back. I personally think Davis is a better left centre back than.
Oh, was he gone?
I
think he's phone.
I would do that. I don't think they will. I think they might possibly go unchanged, maybe Son for Richarlison. But I personally would go out all attacking. You've got nothing to lose. We don't beat Chelsea mainly, so why not go for it?
Yeah, but is this not our best opportunity to beat Chelsea in a very long time? I mean, if we can't beat them this weekend, then when the hell are we going to beat them?
That's what worries me. Everyone's saying, this is the time to play Chelsea. Yeah, like at Stamford Bridge, second game of the season, that was the time to play Chelsea as well. And what happened there? Well, we got the draw, but, it shouldn't really have been a draw.
Yeah, absolutely. Score prediction, Brad?
Okay, you probably know that I'm a bit of a law of averages guy. On the law of averages, we're due to beat Chelsea. But on the law of averages, they're due for a win. So on that basis, I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
Fair enough, Brad. Well thought out there. Thanks for coming on today, mate, and hopefully see you Sunday.
Before I go, can I make a gratuitous plug for my music channel, please?
Of course you can, mate. Of course.
Yeah, it's called Blue Sofa Songs. That's three words, Blue Sofa Songs, and it's just me trying to write songs. They're all written, lyrics are mine, the music's mine. I started off by using a little camera phone and playing live, which took about 30 or 40 takes until I got it right. Now I'm using all DAW software, so I've got like a recording studio on my laptop, so it's all got backing vocals and all that sort of stuff. So the songs are really about my experiences and what I feel about different things. And there's a new song out every other Friday at 5 p.m. There's one out tonight. It's a bit of fun, this one. It's called Primal Rock. It's a bit of fun. And it'd be great if anyone can tune in, see what you reckon. Click the like, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. Leave a comment if you've got any advice or best wishes, that sort of thing. And it's just it's totally unrelated to football. I must get that point out there. But it's just something I really, really want to do. I've got a big passion for music, and I'm trying to improve every song. Some songs work, some songs don't. It's just me trying to make my way as a musician and songwriter. But
can I make a request, Brad?
Yeah, of course you can.
If we get to a cup final song.
You know what, Ben? I had this conversation with someone a few weeks back, and yeah, that is definitely on the cards. I promise I will definitely do that, because I had the idea of doing a Christmas song. So if you go on, there's a Christmas song. And I had this conversation with someone, and I thought about that. And let's face it, sadly, Chaz Hodges is no longer with us, but Dave Pickett's
Exactly.
still around. Brad and
Exactly.
Dave, anyone? So,
I'm
you know.
up for that.
But yeah,
I'll be bang up for that. Bang up for that.
I definitely will do that if we get to the final.
All right, big up, Brad. We'll see you very soon. Thanks for coming
Yes,
on,
guys,
mate.
have a great day. Hope to see you on the
See
weekend.
you, Brad.
Yeah, I
Nice
hope
one.
so. All right, so go and subscribe to his channel. We would get Sean Butler on next if he turned his camera on.
Shawnee, come on, get your camera on, Sean. There we go.
Hey,
Beautiful.
let's bring him on. Yes, Sean, how's it going, mate?
I'm good. Usually I've got the mute button on. This time I got the camera off. You know, I'm not sure what's worse, to be honest.
Well,
How you guys doing? It's Friday. Happy Friday.
Hey, it's Friday. You've got a whole drawer full of receipts. What's coming out of that drawer today?
Oh, I mean, listen, it's been a wonderful experience trawling through the best part of 14 months worth of WhatsApp messages between about 20 people and finding out how often people flip, flop.
From King Flip Flop himself, calling other people to flip flop.
Captain Javiana looking for his disciples. You lot have got a couple of shockers in there.
Shawnee,
It wouldn't be a Tottenham WhatsApp group without a number of shockers in there, let's be honest.
Oh, there's some absolute worldies in there. Absolute worldies. Listen, I won't spoil the surprise. There's going to be a whole show. I'm going to dedicate an entire show to sharing these whoppers.
I'm looking out for that. Oh my word! I'm worried
That's
about it, but I'm
hilarious.
looking out for it.
We might need to skip country after that.
Yeah, I think so.
You got to laugh. It's not just you. It's everybody. Everybody makes them. It's brilliant though. It's brilliant when you go back through and you see like these people whoever it is, random people, Barry for example, saying random stuff like, "Oh, Richie's going to be an absolute weldie, best signing ever," and then you flip forward to about the better part of 9 months later. Why did we sign that absolute mug?
Actually, Sean, one thing I did want to ask you, like, is the Athletic are claiming that they have they're reporting that they
They've got a
think
lot
that
of receipts
Levy
on
was, huh?
They're reporting they got a lot of receipts on Sean. That's what they're
basically,
reporting.
they're reporting that. They're saying that they think Richarlison was driven by Daniel Levy on the basis that he got ahead of the game, that Everton were going to be in financial trouble and that they would sell Richarlison for a decent fee. And maybe it wasn't the case that Spurs scouted him and really thought he was right for their squad, and they decided to sign him based on other factors. What would your reaction to be if that were true?
Yeah. Pending the veracity of it being sincere, i.e., not just a clickbait headline. I know that the Athletic are not in the same ballpark as other journalists or aggregators, but a lot of higher caliber journalists also just make up things to have their say. But if it is true, then it's a massive L for Daniel Levy. There's certainly no Moneyball tactics going on here, where you're looking at a player and analysing the stats and figuring out whether or not they fit a system. If it is true, then yeah, it's a massive L for Daniel Levy. But I was never a fan of Richarlison. So the people like yourself, Sim, who are calling me out in WhatsApp groups for flip-flopping or for being, somehow I'm taking the L on this one. I don't know how I'm taking the L on this one, because I said from the get-go I didn't fancy Richarlison. I don't rate him as a player. Your brother, Ben, sat right next to you, has been waxing lyrical about Richarlison since the moment he was linked. And now suddenly I'm in the mud. I don't know how I'm in the mud, because Daniel Levy apparently went and found
No, but
Richarlison.
no. It's not to do with the quality of player. It's to do with maybe the perception of Conte and the transfer window, and whether because the people who are criticising Conte throw back at him, he spent 60 million here, he spent 25 million there, but how does that change your opinion as to how we have not maybe treated Conte, but maybe how we've done in the transfer window in regards to what Conte's maybe asked for?
Well, look, like I said, I was never a fan of him. I didn't want him in the first place. At the time, I said we shouldn't be spending money in that position. We're strongest in that area. We could probably. I went out. I was going after the Watford fella. who went to Nottingham Forest. Emmanuel Dennis, I thought made more sense. Obviously, he hasn't worked out at Nottingham Forest, so I was silly to have suggested that one. But the argument I was presenting was that we didn't need to spend 60 million quid on a forward, 15 million quid on a backup forward, 20 million quid would have been okay. Go and spend the rest in the centre back space. But if Daniel Levy did this in without the support of Conte, then of course that's a problem, a massive problem. And whether he was backed, you know how I feel about the whole conversation about being backed. I think it's something that looks in the rearview mirror. I think it's only ever a conversation around when things aren't working out as a team. And it's also a continuation of a philosophy that I think where everything that goes right with Tottenham Hotspur is allocated to the person who's doing it directly, and everything that goes wrong is allocated up to the top in Daniel Levy. I think that there's a mismanagement of allocation, of accountability for credit and blame. I stand by that. But if Antonio Conte didn't want Richarlison, and if Antonio Conte didn't want Bissouma, which is the other thing that's being mentioned, if Antonio Conte didn't want Jed Spence, if the only person that apparently Antonio Conte was okay with was Ivan Perisic, then why did Antonio Conte not call that out at the time? Because we're now talking about a different version of Antonio Conte than we've ever seen before. In every other walk of his previous career, he's called out things if he's not getting his own way, yet he stayed silent and actually responded to the questions of whether he was happy with the window back in the summer, that he was happy. So, like I say, if there's truth to it, then it's a massive L. It goes in the L column for Daniel Levy, but it also goes in the L column for Antonio Conte for tolerating it.
It's a good
Fair
point.
enough.
What's your reaction to the news coming out today about Levy and his £500,000 pay rise?
I mean, I don't know why like what to say about it. It's about 15% or no 12% improvement. It's about in line with inflation. Just because your number is 3.2 million net or whatever it is, or 3.2 million as a salary, if you get half a bar on top of that, you're going up in line with inflation. Everybody wants to go up in line with inflation. I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess if you've got a problem with it, then there's a reason to have a problem with it. I don't really have a problem with it, to be honest. I think it's not a good optic. I'll be honest. It doesn't look good. But in terms of what am I going to be upset about it? No, I'm sure there's lots of people that are, you know, do you have a problem with anybody getting a rise in line with inflation? Why should it be, if you do have a problem with it, why should it only be people that are, you know, that are paid a lot of money? Like, you know, I don't know. For me personally, I think I understand if you have a problem with it. I don't personally have a problem with it.
Fair enough. Let's get on to the game now. Big game this weekend against Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea on shocking form. We are on shocking form against them. How are you feeling coming into this one?
Yeah, you know what? It was so interesting, guys. So I was on a channel called Never a Foul, which is like a rival fan channel, yesterday with Irish Hotspur, and we went up against two big Chelsea fans, a guy called Younes and a guy called Goonie. And
yeah, I know Younes. Yeah.
Yeah, good guy, really good guys, right? And you naturally think it would be quite banterous, but actually I've never seen two sets of fans so pessimistic about their own team's chances in a game. Like Dave and I were like, you know, like, yeah, Chelsea are in trouble, but it's Chelsea. And these guys were like, yeah, it's Tottenham, but we are so bad. And they were and we ended up all kind of meeting in the middle and expecting a score draw, just like Brad, who came on before, said 1-1. I think that it all depends on, you know, from Tottenham's perspective. I think what it's going to take is, you know, a game where you don't have individual mistakes. You know, typical setup, typical standard, you know, approach to the game. They're probably going to have more possession than us if they play well. And if Tottenham try and go at it like with a front foot approach against these guys and they sit back, it's probably not going to suit us. But I think that they'll probably try and come at us and we can break. The wing backs are going to be essential. Who performs better in there? And if we have a clanger from a goalkeeper or a centre back, then we're going to struggle. And if Sonny, Kane, or whoever's playing in the front three, if they're off the ball and not turning up, then we're going to struggle. But if you get a resurgence from Harry Kane, who steps back into his traditional role of receiving the ball and drawing fouls that the referee recognises, if he gets a bit more protection, whoever's going to start on the left. For me personally, I don't think it should be Son. I think it should be either Richarlison or Danjuma. I think you probably should give Richarlison a bit more of a longer run in the team, especially because it will be maybe a little bit shithousery in the kind of the way that the game figures out. I think it would be nice to have him there. But if there's a silly mistake, if there's a sloppy issue in the back, we're in trouble. And if the guys at the front end don't do their job, then we're in trouble. Weirdly enough, I'm not worried about the midfield. I think that we can. I think that Højbjerg and Skippy, or Højbjerg and Sarr, whoever that duo is, I think they can probably compete with Hernandez and João Felix and Kovacic if that's the three that they go with. I don't necessarily think that that's where the game is won or lost. I think it's going to be down the wing back section, and then, like I say, if we can stay tight at the back and our front three can do good things, I think we could be okay. What are your thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I kind of feel like I think Chelsea in a weird way. Sorry, you still there? Oh, is he gone? Oh, he's crashed. Oh, no, he's still there. You're
still there, Sean, aren't you?
I'm still here.
Yeah, he's still here.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Not sure what's going on with the connection. Maybe we'll try get him back. I'm not sure. I think he's.
I'm here.
Maybe...
I'm here.
Oh, he's here. He's here. You can hear us. You can hear us.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah. He didn't respond. All right. What I was saying is, I think I can see it being a very stodgy game. On Sunday, Chelsea, for all their faults, are actually quite tight defensively, and that's a worry for me. If we were coming up against a team who were quite open at the back and maybe scoring lots of goals but conceding lots, and that's why they were in bad form, I'd be a lot more confident. But coming up against a team who don't concede many goals and are quite tight defensively, and I know they're not scoring a lot either, but knowing the quality they do have in the forward line does worry me a bit in a fact that we kind of have a very poor defensive record, albeit we have kept 2 clean sheets in the past 2 home games. So I'm just hoping if we can. I think this game is won by mistakes. I think if we can make 100%. So whoever makes the most mistakes will lose. In my opinion, I don't see us opening them up through beautiful football and through patterns of play. I think we just got to hope. We got to like against Man City. I think we got to press them when the opportunity arises. Hopefully, we can nick the ball on a few occasions and punish them and keep it tight at the back. But I think I can see it being very similar to when they went to Anfield recently, where the game just wasn't very good. I see it very similar. I don't think it's going to be a very good game of football on Sunday, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm feeling pretty much the same way, to be honest. I think it's going to be a very, very, very tight game of football, won by the odd goal. I went for 1-0 to Spurs, and I think that, look, when I'm looking at it, this is literally the best time we've had in the last 6 years or whatever it is since 2018 to play Chelsea, to get a result against Chelsea. And I think we're going to do it this weekend by the odd goal, but it's not going to be pretty, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, mate. I think the internet is crashing. I'm not sure if it's my side or your side. I don't know if you guys can still hear me, but
we can.
I'll talk as though you can, even if you can't. Oh. Yeah. Hang on. I'm not sure if I'm over talking.
You're all good, Sean. You're all good. You're all good.
Are you with me still?
Yes.
Oh, well.
All right, I think his internet is not working, so I think we'll have to go to the next guest. But thank you so much for coming on, Sean. It's
Cheers,
been a pleasure speaking to you again.
Internet's a disaster, clearly. I'll speak to you soon.
All right, speak to you soon, Sean. Come on, you Spurs. Let's keep going. Let's go to Hello, Marcos. Hello, mate. You all right? Looks like his internet's poor as well.
Is that our problem? He's on mute as well. Hello?
It can't be.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, we're doing all right. Just preparing for the big game on Sunday. Where are you calling from?
Virginia, America, the USA.
Virginia, the US. Oh, welcome. Welcome from Virginia. First time caller.
No, I talked to you guys.
I don't remember him.
After the Man City game, and I talked to Brian and Ashmatic after the Brentford game.
Oh, big up to you.
Fairly new.
Oh, all right, big up to you. What are your thoughts going into this game? Are you concerned about the quality of Chelsea, or are you confident, given their form, that we'll get all the 3 points?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm definitely concerned. Chelsea are just a matchup nightmare for us. So, I mean, they do say form goes out the window, so we'll have to be wary of that. Defensively, they're good, so it's going to be hard for us to break them down. Um, and we have to force them into their slow lethargic play that we've seen from them over the past couple of weeks. When they're off the ball, I think they're more dangerous than they are on the ball, making them pass sideways. Not letting their dynamic wingers hit us on the break. So I think as long as we contain that, then we'll be okay.
What kind of lineup would you like to see on Sunday? What kind of changes, if any?
I don't want to see Perisic. I think Davies on the left side, honestly, will do us better. Uh, as for Poro or Emerson, I think we need the defensive stability of Emerson. It just suits us better in these types of matchups. So I'd like to see Emerson. And yeah, Skippy, he deserves his place. So I don't want to see any changes, actually. First time this season.
Yeah, so unchanged, which means you'd keep Sonny on the bench.
Yeah, I think he needs a run of games off the bench, and Richarlison needs a run of games starting. So I'd like to see Richarlison tire out the defense, um, tire out. I don't know if Reece James if he's going to be starting, but he's obviously had some stamina issues. So I'd like to see him be worn out and the fresh Suddy come on, because the game will be tight even in like the 60th minute. The game will be tight for the entire match. So I like to see Sonny come on and then hopefully make the difference for us.
Okay, interesting. When it comes to like planning for this kind of game, do you reckon it's like a difficult game to plan for from Spurs' point of view, given how unpredictable it is for to kind of work out how Chelsea are going to play?
Yeah, we don't know who's going to be starting for them, what formation they're going to be playing. So yeah, it's definitely going to be hard for us. But like I said, them on the ball is less dangerous than they are off of it. So as long as we're able to keep the dynamism of the wingers at a minimum, we should be okay. Because through the middle, Havertz doesn't scare me.
Oh, he's gone.
Hello?
No, he's back. Yeah, you're back. Yeah, go on.
Okay.
You said through the middle, Havertz doesn't scare you.
Yes, Havertz doesn't scare me. In the midfield, they can be quite slow and lethargic. So I'd like to see them forced into the midfield, forcing them to make sideways passes in order for their wingers not to be effective in the game.
Okay, interesting.
Score prediction, Alo?
Score prediction. Yeah, like I said, the game's gonna be tight. I'm thinking 1-1 draw, but I'm hoping for a 2-1 win.
All right. Alo, sorry it's a bit short, but we're going through a few internet problems, so we're going to have to sort that out.
No worries.
Thank you, mate, for coming on.
Cheers, Alo.
All right. Have a good one, y'all. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. We'll keep going with the last few guests. We are having a few connection problems at the moment, but I believe this is a brand new caller, Brian Timlin. How you doing, Brian?
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Sorry, I've got laryngitis, so I hope I'll be okay.
Okay.
Oh, sorry to hear.
Okay, yeah.
That's good. That's good. Where are you calling from?
Galway in Ireland.
So are you Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, or are we keeping that for David Harris?
Yeah, I'm ahead of Dave Harris, I think. I've been long. Yeah.
Talk to me about your thoughts coming into this one. You confident for the win?
No, but I think we will win, if that makes sense.
Yeah, talk to me about your feelings. Why do you think we're going to win?
Well, obviously our record is horrendous against Chelsea.
Yeah,
it's just unfathomable how bad it is.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest worry. they always turn up against us, no matter what's going on with them. So it's like, but they're a total mess as well. Like they've 34 players. You can't train 34 players. Like
Yeah.
you can only do training sessions for 16 to 22 players. So it's like, I really feel sorry for Graham Potter because I don't think he's getting a fair crack of the whip at all. Like there's no way he can train that many players. And also he has to keep them happy, so he keeps rotating when he shouldn't really be. He's over rotating. So it's like they're a total mess, but they're Chelsea. So it's like the record. It's those two things are bothering me, and also that we're a bit inconsistent. But the fact that we're at home, I think that the crowd will get on top of those young players, and I think they'll crumble.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so. And I
Yeah.
think when you're looking at,
I think we'll be
sorry, say that again.
a 2-1 maybe to us. I don't know.
2-1.
2-1. I mean, when you're looking at maybe the last couple of games, especially the last game against West Ham, would you like to see an unchanged lineup? Does Sonny come back in? Does Perisic come back in? What would you do?
Yeah, good questions. Yeah. I thought Ben Davies had a great game.
Man, the match apparently.
What? Man, the match? Yeah. I thought he was man of the match. I thought Emerson had a great game, obviously, as well. But Davies was he was doing everything. You know, he was doing good crosses even when people weren't getting on the end of them. Yeah, I might stick with him because, you know, Chelsea do have quality. We might be better just being solid and picking them off, kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see this game being quite a difficult game for both teams to manage in terms of attack going forward, because I think Chelsea are very good defensively. We're not very good defensively, but we've kept 2 clean sheets in a row at home. So I can see this being a game of not a very open game, basically, is my point. It might lead to the team who makes the most mistakes maybe loses in a way. In terms of Richarlison, are you sticking with him up top?
Well, my thing with the forwards is that I know obviously who am I to question Conte, but it's just like Sonny has been playing with his back to goal. I just don't understand it. Like, it doesn't work. If Sonny plays, he needs to be on the shoulder for me. Like when he came on the last day, he was like hitting the space behind, and that's when he won the Golden Boot last season. That's when he was deadly. That's where Sonny is the man. Like the movement, the pace to go in behind people. And for some reason, he's been dropped a bit deeper again. And I know he likes a physical number 9 up front, which is what's happening with Kane. But I mean, oftentimes we nearly have 3 number 10s. So I'd like, if Sonny plays, I'd like Kane to be dropping off and Sonny to be playing on the shoulder. And if Richie is playing, I'd like him to be number 9 and Kane dropping off, because I don't think Richarlison is working. And he was better, I thought, on the left wing than the right wing, but I still think he's an actual physical number 9. I don't think his best work is on the wing either, or number 10. I know we're in between a winger and number 10 there with the two guys behind. So I'd start Richie. Yeah, I'd start Richie on the left wing. You know, get in their faces, soften them up, and then bring Sonny on for 20 minutes to do a bit of damage in behind, hopefully.
All right, Brian, thanks for coming on today. Great time, first caller. Good to chat with you, and hopefully get to speak to you soon.
All right. Yeah.
See you, Brian.
See you. Bye.
Up the Spurs. Come on. And we've got one more guest to bring on, and he goes by the name of Brian Daigle. No, I'm joking. It's KPV.
Oh, God. Hello.
You all right, KPV?
Yeah, can you guess what shirt I'm wearing?
Is it a Champions League final shirt by any chance?
Yes, mate.
You're disappointed that you guessed it.
Well, I just want to say rest in peace, Motti, John Motson.
Absolutely.
The great, yeah. I remember him commentating on a FA Cup final game against City when Ricky Villa done that incredible run.
How do you remember that?
I just watched the highlights of it, brother. I won't. So I don't know what you're talking about, but I know this is Tottenham. But let me say this: Liverpool get battered everywhere they go. Thanks to Luka Modric of Real Madrid again. So they can't beat them, mate. Let's be honest. But who cares, fans? Less of that, rude boy. This Sunday, this Sunday, it ends now.
Damn right. What's the score going to be on Sunday, Kyle?
Well, I say 3-0 because we haven't kept a clean sheet since we ended a 13 winning streak when we had Poch and they had Conte. We won 2-0. Two goals from Delhi and 2 assists from Chris Lyric sensational. Like that was the last time we kept a clean sheet. But it ends on Sunday and that streak is over. We're not losing again at home because this would be, I think, what, 4 seasons they've beaten us at the new stadium. We haven't scored. Like, but come on, man. Enough is enough. It's time to stop losing at home. They're in bad form. We're just starting to come good again. 2 home wins, no goals conceded. Like, can we get 3 wins under Stellini and, like, beat Chelsea? Now is the time to beat them. Like, if we lose, then when are we going to beat them? Like, I just hate them. I hate Arsenal more than I hate these lot. That's the honest, man. I want to smack them up. Like, Tim, you remember the guy said, "We fucked your record up. We fucked your record up. We fucked your record up."
Yeah, I mean, when was that?
I do remember that. That was outside Wembley, wasn't it? That guy just came into the camera. In the fan cam on Wembley
that was 2018. That was... Yeah, like, I don't know if he's going to be there this time, but I also forgot to say happy birthday Chin Bonda for the other day. Had a good one.
Happy birthday,
definitely. Never ever forget Chimbonda's birthday.
Yeah,
100%.
Chimbonda.
What's that coming over the hill? Is it Chimbonda? Is it Chimbonda?
What other birthdays have we forgotten, Kyle?
Yeah, I
Come
don't
on.
know. Anyone else? Like, we've got more to come up. I don't know. Like, there's more. Toby Alderweireld is in March. Pochettino expressions. That, I believe, next week. Toby.
All the Tottenham legends.
Poch and expressions have the same.
Damn right.
Yeah, like, so, Poch, man. But big up everyone who has played for Tottenham. Like, Super Jan and Toby Kenobi. That they're probably going to be watching us beat them. But let's get the win Sunday. Then I believe we have what, Wolves, is it?
Yeah,
and then
Wolves
Milan
next weekend. Yeah.
Sheffield United, then
So-
Wolves. Yeah.
Oh, Sheffield United. Well, I disagree with what people have been saying. Kane should be rested. Our survey says no because we can't. Like, he scored against Sheffield United already. So I'm sorry, people, but he ain't getting a rest. So if you're going to try and say that, do one. Get off this channel. I'm not having it, all right? Kane needs to score.
We're not that
again.
extreme. We're not that extreme here, Carl. They can still have their opinion on this channel.
Well, the all-time record goal scorer, I do not want him rested because, like, I want him to keep scoring, and he's only 8 behind Wayne, Shrek, Rooney in the Prem, but FA Cup. Like, what would you boys rather take? FA Cup and top 4, or FA Cup no top 4? I said
Obviously, FA Cup and top 4.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and then I want FA Cup Champions League, man, because winning them both would make me happy. I'll be in the front of that parade.
Yeah, I'll take that all day long. FA Cup and Champions League.
Yeah,
Sure, I'll
like,
take that.
You two said you was going to be in a parade if we beat Liverpool in the final, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But anyway, Sunday, then you've already seen our fixtures that are confirmed. Monday, I believe we've got Everton, Goodison. I know our record is good there. Draw, win. Newcastle. Then we've got Liverpool, Man United. So we have to beat Liverpool Anfield, boys, after they lost. So
100%.
we have to beat them, man.
We've got many a game before that to get through.
Yeah,
Tell me
we'll see
about
where
it.
we are.
Yeah, but I say 3-0 Sunday, and then the next Saturday Wolves, is it afterwards or Sunday again?
We've got Sheffield
Saturday.
United on the Wednesday, then Wolves on the Saturday.
Oh God! So I expect us to win those 3. This one starts Sunday, boys. Your Sunday starts right here.
Damn right.
Big up KPV.
With
Thanks for
KPV.
coming on today, my friend. And we'll speak to you next time.
Nice one, Kyle.
We'll see you next time. And as always, Levy out. Brian Daigle in.
See you later, mate.
Nice one, Carl.
And that is KPV, people. That is all we have time for today, but a lot more content coming your way today and tomorrow. Stellini has done his press conference, so that is about to get uploaded too. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.